Hi friends, in this video we will derive the mathematical expression for electric field due to uniform electric charge distribution. So we will derive two mathematical expressions. When there is a uniform electric charge distribution on a circular metallic ring at a certain distance from it, the electric field expression, as well as the electric field expression for a finite linear charge distribution when it is placed vertical at some distance from it. So let us first begin with the derivation of electric field due to uniform charge distribution on a circular metallic ring. So consider a circular metallic ring with a center O. This circular metallic ring has a radius r and has q amount of electric charge, q amount of total electric charge that is uniformly distributed over it. We know that metal substances evenly distribute the electric charges throughout themselves. That means they don't have an accumulation of charge at one particular place the way insulators have. So there is a uniform charge distribution on this metallic ring. What we are going to do is, from the center at a certain distance, say x distance, consider a point P, and we will find electric field at this point due to this configuration of electric charges on this circular metallic ring. If there is only one point electric charge, then electric field due to this point electric charge at a certain point can be calculated using the formula E is equal to kq by r square, distance between point charge and that point where we are finding the electric field. But when there are many point electric charges, when there are huge number of charges, then each of them contribute to an electric field, and what we are going to do is we are going to find the complete contribution of electric field due to all these electric charges. That means at point P we are going to calculate the E net, that means the net electric field due to all these point electric charges. So what we are going to do, first we will consider because many charges are there, so first consider a very small portion or small part of this circular metallic ring. Let it have some dl amount of length if L is the length of the complete circle. So on this small section, which is a small tiny element, this has a dq amount of charge. Then this dq, because there is positive electric charge, the direction of electric charge will be radially outward. So this small dq electric charge creates a radial, not a radially outward electric field, and at point P the electric field will be outward. Let me once again redraw this so that the line comes straight. So electric field due to dq at point P will be radially outward. So this is the direction of electric field. And now we know that electric field is a vector quantity. So it can be resolved into two components, so one horizontal component and another vertical component. But before that, let this angle be some theta and r be the distance between point P and this unit element of electric charge, that is a dq. dq is the unit element of charge. I just reduce this so that it is seen. R is this. So the radius of the circular metallic ring capital R, distance between that external point and center of the ring is x. At point P we are finding the electric field, the net electric field due to this complete configuration of electric charge. Each of those, there will be many infinite dq elements on this circular metallic ring. Each one of them will have their own electric field, and every such dq will give a total contribution of electric field at point P. So we are going to calculate net electric field, and I said that electric field is a vector quantity, so it can be resolved into two components. Since this angle is theta, this is a vertically opposite angle, so this is also theta. In that case, this part will be the horizontal component. E subscript h is the horizontal component. Horizontal component of electric field will be E cos theta, and the other one is the vertical component of electric field. Vertical component of electric field is E sin theta. So net electric field at point P will be due to the horizontal component as well as the vertical component. Once we find horizontal and vertical component of electric field, then we will apply the parallelogram law of vector addition to find the resultant electric field, which is at a theta angle. The resultant means this is the resultant field, the one that I'm just outlining with orange now. So then we will get E at point P. So there's a point, but before doing these all, there is a small understanding. Now assume that we have a dq element here. Now you go diagonally opposite. When you go diagonally opposite, you can pick up similar kind of dq element. Now this dq element is at same r distance from point P. Why? Because the tangents to a circle from external point will be of same length, so r will be same. dq and point P, dq is the same electric charge, so at point P, electric field due to the diagonally opposite point charge will be same in magnitude, but it will be radially outwards. So this will be the electric field due to the diagonally opposite element. And then I said that electric field is okay, right, if that is theta, then this is also theta. Okay, so you can understand that the two triangles that you see, I'm showing by cursor. Okay, these two triangles are actually congruent triangles. RHS similarity, I'm sorry, RHS congruency rule. So if this is theta, this is also theta. In that case, this is theta. In that case, for the diagonally opposite dq element, this will be the direction of horizontal component, which will be of same magnitude as the horizontal component of the previous dq. Vertical component of electric field for this element will be in the opposite direction to the previous one. So this will be the vertical component. Now here what happens, these two diagonally opposite dq's will have the same magnitude of electric field at point P. They will have the same magnitude of electric field at point P. See, where is P? This is P. When they have same magnitude of electric field, so like this, when there is a circular metallic ring, there will be pairs of infinite dq elements diagonally that diametrically placed opposite. All of those diametrically opposite dq elements will have the same amount, the same magnitude of electric field. All those electric fields, horizontal components will be in the same direction. So net electric field in the horizontal component direction, because they are all in the same direction, they'll all add up. But about the vertical components, the magnitude is same, but the direction, one is up, another is down. Say for this 2D figure I'm saying. So the direction of electric fields will be in opposite direction, though magnitudes are same. So every time you pick up a pair of diametrically opposite DQ elements throughout the circular metallic ring, all the vertical components are going to cancel. As a result, the net electric field due to this circular metallic ring, that electric field will be the contribution from the horizontal components only. All these horizontal component of electric fields, once we add means integrate, we will get the net electric field. So it is clearly understood that the vertical components are going to cancel. So I will write that, and then we will find the expression for electric field, and we will integrate the horizontal components to know the net electric field. So let us begin with the first statement. Let Q, amount of charge, is uniformly distributed on the circular metallic ring. And what we are going to find? We are going to find E net at point P. And where is point P? Point P is at x distance from the center of the circular metallic ring. That means on the axis of the circular metallic ring. On the axis of the circular metallic ring at a point P, we are going to find the net electric field. So net electric field we are going to find. Okay. And here as I just explained from the diagram, as I just explained, the contributors to the net electric field will be the horizontal components. The horizontal components. And the vertical components will get cancelled. How they will be cancelled? You must have understood that when we take a diametrically opposite DQ elements, due to their electric field at point P, the horizontal components will be in the same direction. So they add up. But vertical components will be of same magnitude but of opposite direction. So they will cancel. So they will get cancelled. So this is the basic information about the electric field at point P. So since electric field due to DQ element will be DE, E is equal to KQ by R square. So we are writing DE is K DQ by R square. R is the distance between DQ and point P. This is that. Now what is E net? E net at point P is integration of the horizontal components. So many DEs. Horizontal components means what? DE cos of theta. And what is a DE? That is K DQ by R square cos theta. One more point. R is constant. Why? Because R is always a distance between DQ and point P. All the DQs will be at the same distance from point P, because these will behave like tangents to the circle from an external point. So they will be same. So K is constant, R is constant, even theta is constant. For the circle, this is center, this is the external point. So this distance is R, this is R. So if you happen to join this, so though I have drawn a bent line, if at all I draw a diameter, then also the upper triangle and bottom triangle will be congruent. They will be congruent by SAS, SSS, RHS, it depends. And because they are congruent, the R is constant. Whichever pair of diametrically opposite diagonals you take, diametrically opposite DQ elements you take. So R will be common, and these two triangles are congruent, so theta will also be the same. Theta will be same. So theta is also constant. So what we are going to do is, we will take K into cos theta by R square. Since all these three are constant, out of the integral, integration of dq. And what's very interesting is, integration of dq means what? On the circular metallic ring, all the dq's you are going to integrate. That means you are going to add up. When you add up, you will get the total charge on that metallic ring. So integration of dq is q. So what is the net electric field at point P? It is K into Q into cos theta by R square. So this is the net electric field at point P. Now when we are going to solve numerical problems on this kind of questions, circular metallic ring with uniform charge density on it, uniform charge distribution over it, in that K is a constant, 9 into 10 to the power 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square, for if this arrangement is there in vacuum or air. Q, they will tell us in the question how many coulombs of charge is uniformly distributed, so that will be told. So K will be told, Q will be told, but theta and R will not be told. What will be told to us is, look into this diagram, and if you just rewind the video, just if you can go back the video, you will see that at x distance from the center, we have to find electric field. So definitely at what distance, that x will be told. X will be told, and obviously radius of the metallic ring, that also will be told. So in the question, x, r and q, and obviously k is a constant. So these will be given. So our formula also should be in these terms. So we have to avoid or replace cos theta, and we have to replace r, small letter r. We have to bring r in terms of capital R and x. So let's have such a formula. Now the diagram was something like this. We had center of the circle, we had the external point, and here we had the tiny electric charge dq. This was the radius, and this was x distance, and this was r. Angle is theta. So here, what is cos theta? Cos theta is x by r. So I'm writing here x by r. Then what's the next step? E net. Net electric field is K Q X by, that r comes down, and we already have r square. So this is what r cube. So, and what is r? You apply Pythagoras theorem to this right angle triangle, and then we will get r square is equal to capital R square plus x square. So we will do that substitution here, and we will have net electric field at a point at a certain distance from the center of a circular metallic ring having uniform electric charge distribution as KQX by R is what? Capital R square plus x square over all. This is R is actually square root of R square plus x square. So here the square root term comes, square root is to the power 1 by 2, and then there is overall cube. So the net electric field is KQX product form. r square plus x square to the power 3 by 2. And if radius of the circular metallic ring is negligible compared to the distance of the point where electric field is found. That means if radius of the circular metallic ring is far smaller than x is the distance between center and the point where we are finding electric field, then here we have r square. So if r itself is small, r square is going to be still smaller, so we can make it negligible. And then the net electric field, E net, at that external point can be found as kqx by x square to the power 3 by 2. Means what? kqx by x cube, finally kq by x square. So this again we came back to the regular electric field formula, that is kq by r square. Now let's find a mathematical expression for electric field due to a finite linear charge distribution. First consider a finite linear charge distribution placed vertically. In the previous video we have placed the finite charge distribution, the wire, horizontally, and from one of the ends at a certain distance at a point P we found electric field due to the complete linear charge distribution. But this time we will put the linear charge distribution vertically. Assume that this has some q amount of charge evenly distributed throughout it. So there is a uniform electric charge distribution over this finite metal. And let us find electric field at a certain point P. From which point? Not necessary from the midpoint. It can be from anywhere. So assume that at point P, we are finding electric field due to all of this configuration of point electric charges. If there is only one charge, then electric field at point P due to that single charge is a kq by r square. But there are so many electric charges, so each of them will contribute to the electric field, and we are going to find the mathematical expression for the net electric field due to this finite charge distribution at point P. So where is point P? Point P is at a certain distance from the this metallic wire, some distance, call it as some a distance. Then at a certain distance L, cut out a small element from this wire. Small is very small. Okay, that small element we can call it as a dl. Meanwhile, length of this rod be represented with a capital L. Length of this rod be represented as capital L, and one of the extreme end makes an angle θ1 with point P, with a horizon, and the other extreme end makes an angle of θ2. Because we are saying finite, so we should know the end points. So end points are at θ1 and θ2 with respect to the horizontal line from point P. So at a distance L from this point, take a very small section of element on this dl, which has a very small amount of charge on it, that is a dq. Now what we will do is, we will find electric field due to this dq element, or the element which has charge dq. So electric field due to this dq at point P. And then on this finite electric charge distribution, or on this finite wire or rod, there are infinitely many dq's. So once we know electric field due to one small element dq, all those small dq's will also contribute to the same amount of electric field at point P. So all those electric fields due to those all tiny dq's throughout this metal rod, once we add up, means integrate, we will get net electric field at point P. So this is what we are going to do. So this right. So this dq element is at a certain angle phi, and the small element dl, it is really very tiny because it has got very small charge of dq. So that dl element subtends an angle of d phi at point P. So this is the basic thing. Then this small element dq, on this rod, this small element dq on this rod contributes to an electric field at point P in outward direction. So this is the electric field which is radially outwards due to dq at point P. And then since electric field is a vector quantity, it can be resolved into two components. One is a horizontal component and another is vertical component. Now if this angle is phi, this is also phi, and if that angle is phi, this is going to be the horizontal component, and horizontal component is E cos phi, and this is going to be the vertical component of electric field, that is the E sin phi. Now net electric field due to this finite wire or metallic rod at point P, net electric field due to this will be due to the two contributors, horizontal components and vertical components. That means, say if I take some other small element, on the other side, say I am taking here, I'll just take a brilliant color so that it is visible. So if I take another small element here, dq, so this is a dq, so this will contribute to electric field at point P radially outward direction, and this also will have a horizontal component, and this will also have a vertical component. And here the point is, all the horizontal components are in the same direction, so they all add up and they will become one part of the net electric field contributors. But vertical components will come in opposite direction. But if the magnitude of electric field at point P due to all the dq elements is the same, then the vertical components will cancel. But the magnitude of electric field at point P due to all those tiny dq elements on that finite metal rod at point P, electric field magnitudes, it is not same. Why it is not same? It is not same. Why? Because the distance between dq and point P, that is r, you see these all are r, they are not same. You see, if we have a rod and I have a point P, so distance between P to the rod, these are all distances that I am drawing. These are all, the one which is close to the perpendicular is shortest, the one which is far from the perpendicular is longest. So R is not same. So electric field is not going to be same. And since magnitude of electric field is not same at point P due to each dq on this finite element, the vertical components will not cancel. everything is going to be added, though they are in the opposite direction. Right. So this is the basic understanding. So we will find the total of the horizontal components and total of the vertical components, and we will integrate them, and then we will find resultant of EH and EV by applying the parallelogram law of vector addition. So what is the formula for electric field? Electric field is K Q by R square. And then we have horizontal components and vertical components. So horizontal component is E cos theta. Sorry, it's not theta, it is phi. If you remember, I just redraw this diagram every time I slide it down on this screen. Okay, so this is point P, and this is the dq element. Electric field is outward, fine. This is the horizontal component. This is the vertical component, done. So this is some phi. Theta 1, theta 2 are different angles. And this distance is some A. This distance, which is perpendicular distance, is L, and this distance is R. So here R is a variable. R is different for this. Okay. So this is a phi. So E cos phi. And the vertical component is E sin phi. E sin phi. So first we'll find E, then we'll plot in these locations. Okay. So E is dE first. The small dq will contribute dE, and once we integrate dE, we will get the net electric field in a particular direction. So K dq by R square, and I said that R is a variable and variables have to be replaced. So what is so here we will introduce a term called linear charge density, which we have used in the previous video also. Linear charge density, that is lambda. Lambda is Q by L. So what is Q? Q is a lambda L. In that case, what is a dq? dq is a lambda dl. So in place of dq, we will write lambda dl. Interestingly, that dl is also, we have to replace. R is a variable, so that also we have to replace. So electric field is what? dE, which is K lambda dl by R square. Now we have this right triangle from the diagram. You can just rewind a bit and you will know what I'm writing. So this was L, small letter L, this is A, and this is R. Then what is cos of phi? Cos of phi is adjacent to hypotenuse. So A by R. So from here we will find what is R. R is A by cos phi. So this is one of the substitutions that we are going to do. So R we are going to substitute, and also we are going to substitute dl. So we know that, just in parallel space I am writing tan phi. What is tan phi? Tan phi is opposite to adjacent. In that case, what is a dl? dl is a tan phi. I'm sorry. L is a tan phi. L is a tan phi. Now we want a dl, so we have to differentiate it with respect to phi. So we have here dl by d phi, which is a sec square phi. Then what is a dl? dl is a sec square phi d phi. So this is the next substitution that we are going to do in the mathematical expression for electric field. Okay, so electric field due to that small dq element at point P, due to the finite charge distribution, is a dE, which is k lambda dl. dl is what? A sec square phi d phi. We have just used this by r square. R is r square. R is what? A by cos phi. So r square is a square cos square phi. And then we see some small cancellations. A cancels with this, and sec square phi cancels with a cos square phi, and thus dE is k lambda d phi by A. That's it. So this is what we wanted, in fact. Now we will find, because every dq element will provide one horizontal component and one vertical component. All the horizontal components in one direction, so we have to add them, so we will integrate. Similarly, the vertical components, though they are in opposite directions, but few of them are in one direction, few of them are in the other direction, but magnitudes are different, so there also we have to integrate. So let us first find the net field in the horizontal direction. So since horizontal component is the integration E cos phi, but I am writing dE cos phi, and dE just now we have seen, so it is the integration k lambda cos phi d phi by A. All that is a constant will go out of the integral, and we have here horizontal component as k lambda by A integration cos phi d phi, and we are going to integrate it within the limits of minus theta 2 to theta 1. And what do we get? We will get the horizontal component as k lambda by A. Integration of cos phi d phi is sin phi from minus theta 2 to theta 1. First we will substitute the upper limit, and then we will substitute the lower limit. So upper value minus lower value. So k lambda by A sine of theta 1 minus sine of minus theta 2. And since sine is an odd trigonometric function, sine of minus theta is minus sine theta. Odd trigonometric functions are like this. So it is minus sine theta 2. And then what is the complete contribution towards the horizontal component due to the complete amount of charges on the finite charge distribution? It is the horizontal component, which is a k lambda by A sine theta 1 minus of minus plus sine theta 2. So this is the net contribution of electric field in horizontal direction. Now let us do that for vertical, since vertical component of electric field is E sine theta. And then we have to integrate this. So when we put an integration symbol, we have to write here dE. So integration dE sine theta. So integration k lambda sine theta d theta by r square. What are the constants? K. Okay. Yeah, k lambda d phi by A, not r square. Okay, I just had that small doubt, so I just did the clarification. So here we have A, not R square, A. So K, lambda by A are constant, so integration of sine theta d theta, and the limits are between minus theta 2 to theta 1. So what is the vertical component? Net vertical component. Net vertical component is K lambda by A. It's not vertical component due to one element. It is a net vertical component of electric field due to all the dq's on the finite charge distribution. Integration of sine theta d theta is minus cos theta, and minus theta 2 to theta 1. And this is what K lambda by A minus cos theta 1 minus of minus cos minus theta 2. And cos theta is odd trigonometric function. So cos of minus theta is plus cos theta. So this will apply here. So this is only cos of theta 2. So the minus symbol exists. This minus and this minus do interact. And finally, what is the vertical component? Vertical component of electric field, the net vertical component of electric field is K lambda by A. Minus of minus plus, I am writing cos of theta 2 first, then cos of theta 1 next. So this is the net contribution of electric field in the vertical direction, and the upper line is net contribution of electric field in the horizontal direction. But we have to find E net. So E net, net electric field due to a finite charge distribution at a certain distance from it at a point P is the resultant of these two, so square root of the horizontal component square plus vertical component square, and here the 2 cos horizontal 2 E horizontal into E vertical into cos 90. I am not writing this, cos 90 is 0. So once we plot the values, we get the net field at a point P due to the linear charge distribution.